Welcome everybody. Episode of Earworm. My name is Timothy Malone. My friend here, Zachary Smith, is my co-host for Earworm.
Good morning.
So, kind of give you a little more rundown of what we're trying to do here. Pretty much week to week. I'm this week I picked the song. Next week, Zach's going to pick the song. Week after that, we're probably going to have a guest, and then the week after that, we're going to have a sort of a grand topic. This week we're going to touch on a song called Left My Wallet in El Segundo by A Tribe Called Quest. Um, we've covered a bunch of different genres, and now we're moving more into hip hop. We've covered like metal with Living Color. We covered country music a little bit. We covered, one hit wonder pop songs.
Yep.
So we want to cover, all genres as much as we possibly can. So this week, A Tribe Called Quest out of Queens, New York, came out with this song before young Master Zachary here was even born. And in my
It's been a couple
opinion,
years,
yeah, okay,
not
yeah.
too long.
In my opinion, it's one of my favorite rap songs, if not my favorite rap song. And Q-Tip, the head guy, the main guy in the Tribe Called Quest, he is basically recording the song solo. He is the only one pretty much rapping in the song, and I find that extremely interesting. Um, Zach got with me and basically had a couple. He left some breadcrumbs for me, and that's what's going to make this episode today a little extremely interesting, in my opinion. In that he is not super familiar with these guys or with this song, and it's. I mean, I've already explained it's before your time, dude. So,
I
like,
think this is the first one that we've really hit on that shows you the generational difference in the music. Because
generational diversity, nice.
you said just a minute ago this is one of your favorite rap songs of all time.
Absolutely.
You sent this to me and I heard it for the first time a couple days ago. And to be honest with you, I got maybe 40 seconds in and I was like, "What is this?"
That is
And
perfect.
I just the entire time, all I could think of it. Now I know it came out after the fact, but all I could think of is what this song sounds like "Fly" by Sugar Ray.
All right.
If
All
you
right.
listen to them back and forth, they're dead even. So obviously, Sugar Ray stole it from him or them. But yeah, I don't know if it's the no. I guess every song is like telling a story, but this is actually like he was a teenager, right? He
Think he was like 18 or
probably
19 years old. He started rapping in 1985 in Queens, New York. I mean, he was young.
yeah, so he was definitely not making a trip like this. This is
No.
all a fantasy thing, and for him to come up with it and kind of play a story and create a story, that part was kind of cool after I read into it. But I don't know if it's the just repetitiveness of the song or what, but it didn't hit me.
I mean, you could tell the difference between nowadays, the hip hop music, the rap music that's coming out, compared to back then. This was like early 90s. Tribe Called Quest, if you look them up and kind of do a little due diligence, they were like the godfathers of what people qualify as alternative rap. And first of all, I found that out in like researching it over the last couple of days. I didn't know there was a genre that was even defined as alternative rap.
Yeah, I guess you see it more today because a lot of like rappers will have guys from alternative bands, kind of like MGK, for example. That's
Right.
a probably a bad example, but to start there. But
Yeah.
he's playing the pop punk sound, but he's also rapping to. It's kind of like Lil Wayne did that a little bit too for a
Yeah.
couple of those songs. But yeah, this is completely different alternative rap than now. This is kind of like the rap over the 80s ska music kind of feel.
Yeah. And they defined the background beats, the background melody in this, the kind of, the what's driving it as like some sort of jazz ensemble song that they kind of just riffed and looped. I have no idea who the artist was that they found this melody and beat to, but it's funny you brought it up earlier. the storytelling aspect. Because think of us. So you brought up Lil Wayne, and I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan. I've seen him in concert. My daughters and I went to go see him in Reading, Pennsylvania. Um, like, does he do storytelling songs? Like he just, I mean, he's just out there blowing
Not
things up, you know?
not exactly. I mean, his storytelling is like, let's talk about a night where I did a bunch of drugs and stuff like that. This guy is going into detailed, like, hey, we went in a car. My mom is away. We went in a car. We went to this place. I left my wallet because I was looking at a hot girl, and that there's just storytelling. The other ones just kind of have like a, I don't know. You know what I'm kind of trying to say?
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. It's
It's a
kind of like,
story, but this is different. This is like a novel, I
yeah, it's
guess.
like, and what's really funny. I mean, you take a step back and realize that this guy was like 18, 19 years old when he wrote this song, and I mean, he's honestly describing a trip down to like, the backwoods, if you will, out in the desert of Mexico. But I mean, you and I talked about this briefly. El Segundo is actually a section of Los Angeles. That's where
It backs up to the airport, right?
LAX is right in El Segundo.
Yeah.
It's a historically industrial neighborhood. There was a bunch of factories and warehouses there, and over the years, it's become more like gentrified, if you will. I actually had a business like dinner event at like a restaurant there about 10 years ago.
Ah,
El Segundo is actually quite a like a it's got, I guess no whether we to qualify it. It's kind of like a hipster neighborhood. It's like Brewery Town or whatever sections of Philly that have been
so,
like.
but like, was it back then though?
I mean, we're talking late '80s, early '90s. Maybe it was a little more industrialized, but it's definitely not like you're not looking. I mean, he identifies Pedro being 4 foot tall. Like if you ever see the video, there he is, the guy's out there on the corner in the sombrero. That's not. That's
Yeah, it's kind of like an old Western, like, so he
yeah,
based it off of Sanford and Son, right? Is
yeah,
that it?
yeah.
And the
Because
look of that show is kind of like old Western, but that's
I, yeah, I mean, because Sanford and Son described it. They talked about El Segundo, and they're talking about a neighborhood of Los Angeles. And Sanford and Son was out there, and
yeah,
a lot of people don't realize like the neighborhood that they're living in. Him and his son are a neighborhood of Los Angeles. So when they bring up El Segundo, and it makes all sense in the world that Q-Tip is watching that show with his parents, and then
yeah,
he's like,
it
let's
all
talk
makes
about,
sense.
yeah, let's drive out to El Segundo because heck, one, I've never been there. Two, they mentioned it in at Sanford and Son, and
Yeah,
then
TV show, like, let's go out and see it.
it's like with me, it's like they mentioned something on Cheers, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do a rap song about that.
Yeah.
But so your takeaway, and I gotta ask you this because in my first, I think, query into what your thoughts were about my idea about this song this week, you were like, "Oh man, I'm going to save this." And you're like, but I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, not a real positive. You're not like huge fan. You didn't think anything of it, or like you think it's just old school.
I guess it's just old school. It's too old school for me, which is old school rap for me. Like, I don't know. I listened to a couple other one of their songs, and it's still just kind of like meh. I don't know. Maybe it's wrong time. I just
So
I
uh,
didn't it didn't do anything for me.
so generationally speaking, I grew up in Run DMC and Public Enemy, and then circa 1984, 85, the Beastie Boys came out. And I was so used. I mean, even in like late '70s, early '80s, like hip hop was related to like breakdancing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was very. I mean, it was like these repetitive songs, all driven by these loops and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you have this guy from Queens, New York, with a band, a Tribe Called Quest, telling these like storytelling with these beats that you weren't used to. Because you go back and listen to like Run DMC, you pretty much couldn't identify the song that they were looping from that. It was just basically, a drum machine
Yeah.
driving. Yeah.
More
And
like on the what's that called? In the studio kind of making beats and stuff like that.
oh,
Or
yeah. And
Yeah.
like they kind of it's funny to say this because talking about different generations, it's kind of freaking they looped like an old jazz song, like they were the DJs out there just playing off
Yeah.
an actual vinyl record, like just letting it go. And the one takeaway that I also wanted to bring up was here's this rap group. There's three guys and a DJ, and here's one of their most famous songs. There's only one rapper on it.
It's
Q-Tip
only
is
the
the.
one guy.
Can
Yeah.
you think, Zach? Can you? I thought of it myself, and I actually looked it up. Wu Tang had like 6, 7, 8 members, and they never did a song where one individual just drove the entire song. Whereas,
Yeah, I
and
mean, there's a bunch that have gone off and done their own
yeah,
like projects, but
yeah,
not. I can't think of any but like a 3-man or 4-man group or whatever that they're all just kind of chilling, and he's full bore.
he's basically rapping the entire song. And I actually looked it up. I thought and you brought up, a lot of guys did their own solo albums, especially from another favorite group of mine, Wu Tang Clan from Staten Island. I thought ODB was always doing it himself, but all those ODB songs you heard on the radio back in the day, they were all off his solo album. And when you go back and listen to Wu Tang, there's like 6 or 7 guys in every song, like sharing the content
Yeah,
and the
so
rapping.
you see that a lot. You see like one guy from a group break off and make it big. The other two guys are just like
Yeah,
SoundCloud guys
yeah.
for a
I
little bit, and then
mean,
they all get back together and it works.
yeah, a Method Man had a pretty big solo career coming out of Wu Tang as well. But like, so I mean, the one of the takeaway was like Run DMC, and I brought up Beastie Boys. But if you listen to all the Beastie Boys content, can you think of a song where one of those dudes is the only one rapping? I don't. I'm trying to like figure out in my mind what was driving this. Like, hey guys, I got this song. Check this out. I'm gonna rap it all for you. Should we join in, Q-Tip? Nah, man, I got
Yeah, it's
this.
like, can we get in on this one? It's like, no, no, stay back.
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's extremely interesting. You sit there and go, wait a minute, none of the other guys are in this freaking
Yeah.
song.
Now, another point, maybe I don't like this song because I can't stand the Beastie Boys either.
You can't stand the Beastie Boys? Wow,
Can't stand them.
I think that's an entire another episode later on this month to have it
Yeah,
for a discussion point.
but maybe that's why I like this song didn't do much for me because I hear the Beastie Boys and I would listen to anything else. I something
Really,
about them I just can't stand them. But it's that
I
same like duh, 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 huh, huh, like repetitive. Just I'm like, ugh.
even they're more like California esque albums, like after License to Ill and
I don't know too much of them because I just don't like growing up. I've heard a couple songs and just no shot.
this is a perfect example of why you and I have this show because I adored Beastie Boys. Like License to Ill, I had in my Walkman in the backseat of my father's like van driving across the United States. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't listen to anything else.
Hmm.
I knew every lyric, like, and and it's so funny that we're gonna bring it up later on in another episode. But they were basically making fun of the hip hop scene with License to Ill because all these guys are. It's just it's ironical. It's not even funny. But like I'm so glad that I chose this song in reference to hip hop to kind of break that genre content.
You
But
nailed it with this one. This is like you said earlier. It's your favorite, and I don't know if I'll ever listen to it again.
I with all due respect, I do play it occasionally of Grams. I mean,
Yeah,
you've
like
heard it.
I would. It's one of those songs I would never play, but if it's on this one, now that I've listened to it, looked into it, we're talking about it, I would, I'd be like, okay, that's I know that song, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go listening to any more of the tribe.
Man, I see. It's crazy. That's the generational difference. It's one of my favorite rap groups. Q-Tip is my favorite rapper, and this is one of my favorite rap songs. And you're like, what is this garbage?
I don't know that I've ever heard of these guys. To be honest with you, like I've probably heard songs on the radio or like played on videos or something, but yeah, I don't even think I've heard of them.
Oh my goodness. So I've seen these guys at least 3 times in concert. They opened up at Wells Fargo Center. I think it was First Union Center at the time, the FU Center. They actually opened up for the Beastie Boys in like the late 90s, like 97 or 98.
Hell.
I mean, think about that.
It sounds really cool for back then. It sounds awesome. It sounds awesome. That
when you were like
those two, no, those two really like opening up in this place with this kind of fan base. That must have been insane.
it was we were up a friend of mine her father owns like a limo company out in like King of Prussia area, and he's got like one of those suites, and there was like 8 or 9 of us in there, and we couldn't have been more happy to go to that show. Like that's how popular and how big they were in our minds from my generation. So just to kind of wrap things up, one question for you that I presented to you before the show is I asked you to like come up with a rap name for yourself and a rap name for me, your partner in Earworm. So I'll kick things off. And so yours is quite easy. I mean, I brought up some old school stuff, so I went kind of old school. And yours is absolutely YMZ. YMZ, Young Master Zachary.
That's pretty good, Timmy. I'll give that one to you.
See?
YMZ.
Yeah. And then
I got a lot of acronym names here.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Run DMC, one of the most popular rap groups of all time. I mean, you're familiar with them, and they were around 15, 20 years before you were born.
YMZ, I'm the GP.
Yeah, GP. There you go. And then for me, and I don't know if I brought it up to you, but I kind of texted the Schmidt Lavelle guys, Malone Guy.
Malone Guy. Oh my God.
I put some time into this. I put some thought into this, my man.
Is that supposed to sound sad?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, you know some of my marital background.
Okay. It's a good one. You nailed both of them. You nailed both of them.
The ball's in your court, young man.
So I gotta go the layup for myself. Boys already calling me it Dirty Zach.
I see Tom referenced you that way within the last 10 days.
Got to go Dirty Zach.
Okay.
And then for you, I will tell you I cheated a little bit. I found a generator online. And it told me to put a bunch of things in and came up with a bunch of them, but we're going to go with Funky Finkel.
You know what? For some reason, that makes a little bit of sense.
Makes a little bit of sense. You're gonna be like a Will Smith rapper, like a nice, clean rapper.
Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness. Who is this DJ? I met his DJ a couple of times. He's from West Philadelphia.
Jazzy?
Yeah, DJ Jazzy Joe. Wow.
I think he plays golf.
Yeah. So does Will Smith.
Yeah.
But Zach, I appreciate your time this week. Let's kind of wrap things up here. Anything for our audience, listeners, viewers, maybe we can provide?
Well, my pick next week, right?
Yeah, your pick is next week. Kind of like want to leave some breadcrumbs, if you will.
So I'm gonna be seeing him probably this summer on the list.
Right on.
We've been looking at it all episode. I'm gonna go a little Dave.
Right on. I just
go Dave next week.
There we go.
Well, we went a little episode here that we went back and forth, kind of disagree, but
yeah,
we'll. I know we both love Dave, so
and
he's got a ton of history. I'm not going to stick it to one song.
Okay.
Maybe an album, but we'll get to that. So we're going Dave next week.
All right. I'll be underneath the table and dreaming for the next week or so.
Nice.
Zach, thanks, my friend. Talk to you soon.
See you, everybody.